It always does feel extremely long, doesn't it? The international break does give us a little bit of a thirst for our Premier League, and fortunately for Fantasy Premier League managers, the Premier League is back and is getting to the climax. And some good news, especially for managers who still have some of their chips available as a free hit or the triple captain pick. This weekend presents itself with a double game week. So game week 22 is coming back with a bang and a blessing. So of course there would be decisions, and if you're playing your free hit or even making your transfers or taking a -8, you would need some guidance to which players to bring in for this game week, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing here on the Joy Fantasy Football Show. So of course I'm not here alone, and I'm in the company of my usual guest, and that is Bill. And Bill, how are you doing?
I'm good.
So the international break just went by. Did you have any players in there who caught your eye and you would be chipping into your team because of their performance on the break?
Well, Raheem Sterling was in very fantastic form during the international break. In one of the games, he scored a hat-trick for England, and he was on target again in the other game. So I think he will be on a very good run. He's in a very good run of games already, but I think he might be able to carry it onto the next run of games, which is the double game week that's coming up.
Yeah, I'll come back to you in terms of your players for the game week. And how are you doing?
Alive and well, yourself?
I'm good too. So we've seen our international break. Any guys there that convinced you not to pick them, or any guys there that convinced you to involve them in your team?
So actually, Aguero, who didn't start or play any game for Argentina, is the one I'm going for because he had a very good rest. And as you know, he's had to play almost every game in the last 10 game weeks for City. So I'm counting on him having a good rest and then coming back blazing for City.
Blazing is the word indeed. And you look at the double game week and some teams that would be in there. Of course, you have your Manchester United there, you have your Manchester City, your Tottenham Hotspur, and your Chelsea. So these are the big clubs that would be there. Of course, there are other clubs in there like Watford, who could prove as a differential with some of their players in there. But I gave these experts an opportunity to pick their full sets. One goalkeeper, one defender, one midfielder, and one attacker that they would pick if they were to have the chance to make all these transfers for this double game week. And let me start from you, Bill. And of course, we start from the goalkeeping department. Who do you think would be an ideal pick for this week?
Easy for me, Edison. Edison of Manchester City. He, of course, in the last 5 Premier League games, has had 4 clean sheets. And with the 2 opponents that he is facing at the moment, he had already faced them in the reverse fixture. He got a clean sheet in both matches, which is a boost for him. And of course, for a team like Cardiff, in the last 3 Premier League games, they have only scored in one of them. That is a very key factor in picking someone like Edison. Also looking at Fulham in the last 7, they have been a bit clinical at times, but in the last 7, they have not been able to score in 3 of them. And that is also something that he will really lick his lips upon seeing.
Certainly, and that is very, very in-depth as to which keeper that you would be going for. And Bill is going for Edison. And do you stick with the City safe fans, or you have another option that you think we should consider?
So actually, I'm going for Kepa from Chelsea. And obviously, it's because of his double game week advantage over other keepers. But the thing is, unfortunately for him, the whole Chelsea side having been too good defensively. But I'm counting on them to change their gameplay, and then hopefully he can secure 2 clean sheets this weekend, because they're playing against a Cardiff side who haven't been too solid themselves. They are languishing in the bottom of the league, and Brighton as well, who are also down the table and not really playing their game. So I think Chelsea will be able to secure clean sheets in this one, and then hopefully Kepa comes away with points as well.
Yeah, of course, for Kepa Arrizabalaga, remember that in his last game week, although they lost to Chelsea, he saved a penalty and ended up getting a good number of points. So that is it for our goalkeeping department, Edison versus Kepa. Arrizabalaga, whoever you want to go with. They presented solid points as to why you may pick one of them. So really the choice is yours. I think it's a very, very close one. Let's check up with the defenders. And who did you go for in that department?
Aymeric Laporte.
You seem to be sticking with City.
Yeah, I'm sticking with City because they are two opponents, of course, part of the bottom three of the Premier League.
Yeah.
And they have had very good record per the reverse fixture. They beat Fulham by 3-0, solid 3-0, and they beat Cardiff by 5-0,
Yeah.
which is also a very big scoreline. And so I think, yeah, they are the big picks. And of course they are also fighting for the league. They are fighting with Liverpool for the league, and so Pep will look to try and get all the results that he needs to be able to push on. So the reason why I picked Aymeric Laporte, it's very interesting, In the previous game week,
The double game week.
he was actually the highest
points,
the highest scoring player. 20
Yeah,
points
I had a
in
feeling,
20 points in that double game week. And of course, looking at his injury, he just came back from injury recently, but he has trained, he has had full training, and he hasn't been able to play a part in the game in the international break. So of course he will be fresh, he will be fit to be able to play his part and then help Ederson as well to also keep a clean sheet against these opponents.
Okay, so it's Aymeric Laporte for Bill. I know you also put in all your eggs in one basket concerning your defense. He's gone for a Manchester City all-gun basket or whatever he has in terms of that package. And if they do concede one goal, that would be trouble for him. But are you diversifying your portfolio, or you're also sticking with the same strategy?
So unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately for managers, I'm going the same line. I'm going with David Luiz from Chelsea. So the thing is, David Luiz is a really good leader at the back. It's just unfortunate that the whole Chelsea squad haven't been playing too good recently and thus conceding so many goals. But David Luiz, we all know, is a very good player defensively and oftentimes offensively as well. Most of his goals that he scored and assisted this season have come against lowly sides. So that's why I'm trusting him to reap some results against Cardiff and Brighton.
Of course, he has played the most through balls for the Premier League and also in the top 5 European leagues. So definitely he's very, very adventurous when it comes in there. But a quick question to you. Do you think there's a risk of rotation? We've seen Christensen coming into the squad, especially for him. Rudiger seems to be a more sure bet in that defense. And you're convinced he's going to start these 2 games?
So yes, I am convinced, but like we always say, you never know.
You just never know. And of course, you can do all your analysis, but on the day, you always do leave the room for unexpected happenings. So let's jump straight into the midfield. And I think, let me start with you there. And who are you going for in that midfield?
So I think this goes without saying.
A lot of
Raheem
options.
Sterling, actually.
Yeah.
He picks himself in this list. Sterling is the man of form, like Bill said earlier. He played for England, scored a hat-trick. He's definitely your man to go for in the City lineup, in my opinion. I mean, apart from Aguero, who's also coming in from a game week an international break where he's been rested. City rely on Sterling for a lot of pace up front, a lot of creativity in the box and stuff like that. He has 15 goals, 13 assists. I think he's definitely going to add to that tally this double game week.
Especially when he has been in the conversation for the Player of the Year awards. We know that the nominations and the voting should happen next month. Everything should be sorted out in April. So, of course, some good form would do him some goodwill there, not just for Manchester City, but also on a personal level. You have been Team Manchester City all along. Is that trend going to continue straight to your midfield?
No. I'm going to go for a very surprise pick, a differential, so to speak. That is Gerard Deulofeu of Watford.
That's bold.
Yeah, that is very bold. Looking at the kind of fixtures he has. But one thing is there. Looking at the past 4 Premier League games, he has racked up an amazing 37 points. For someone who plays for a team like Watford, to be able to rack that number of points, that means you are really dangerous.
But to be fair, he got 21 points against Cardiff.
Yes.
That major hat-trick there. So apart from that game, it's been what? 9 points spread in 3-4 games. Not bad, yeah, as you do say. Of course, a differential would be crucial, especially at this time of the season. And let me stay with you for your attacker.
Yeah.
Are you going for another differential or a short banker in this department?
A short banker. Kun Aguero, of course. Sergio Aguero.
You know, if you went for Manchester City midfielder, that would have been
a whole City
Avengers of Manchester City players.
Yeah.
But talk us through why you went for Aguero.
Yes, so Aguero, we all know he is the top scorer of the Premier League. He's already gunning for the Golden Boot. And he didn't play any part in the international break, knowing that he will be fit, very much fit, to face these two bottom sides. Of course, looking at his previous match against Fulham, he got 2 assists in that 3-0 victory. And in the previous match against Cardiff, he got a goal in that 5-0 victory as well. So, of course, you can bank on him to get more goals, knowing that he is fighting with the team for the Premier League, and he's fighting for himself for the Golden Boot as well.
Ever since he climbed to the summit of that Golden Boots chart, he hasn't scored a goal yet, and he's been stuck on 18 for a very long time. Mane has moved all the way from 14 to 17.
Yeah.
Are you worried a little bit that the pressure is getting to Kun Aguero, considering that he has won this Golden Boot just once? And also, with Gabriel Jesus coming out in a press conference during the international break saying that he's been telling his whole family that he wants to play more games, he wants to be involved. Does the pressure come on Pep Guardiola to drop Sergio Aguero if his form seems to be on a dip? He has been poor in these past few weeks, struggling to get in the goals. Do you foresee any rotation with Sergio Aguero and Gabriel Jesus, especially in this double game week?
Well, previously, before the international break, we could realize that Sergio Aguero played a lot of games. I think he played about 10 games in a row. For Manchester City, he started 10 games in a row. Of course, that would have an impact on your form. No matter how good you are, you won't be at your best all the time. And now he has gotten that 2-week rest. That whole 2-week rest, of course, plays a very big part in a player's form. Now he is rejuvenated, he has the energy, and he's facing 2 bottom sides, which is a very good way to start, to try and get a boost again and then try and get more goals. So I think it won't really affect him that much. I think he'll be able to get the goals.
Okay. So finally, you wrap it up for us with your attacker. You going with Manchester City, and surprisingly, I'm not seeing any Manchester United players in there. Very, very shocking. Or Tottenham Hotspur. Is it because they're playing Liverpool? But yeah, draw the curtain for us. It has to be a surprise, right? Or it's going to be Sergio Aguero.
It's actually not too much of a surprise. I'm going for Raul Jimenez of Wolves.
That's his guy.
That's my guy, actually, yes. So Jimenez is also the guy on form in the Premier League. He's one of the best strikers so far this season. His goals have just been very decisive for a Wolves side who have flirted with relegation at one point in time, but are now sitting comfortably around the mid-table section. So I think it's going to be very important for them coming into the running for the season. And most importantly, in these 2 double game weeks that they have coming. Mind you, he also has a double game week coming up in 35 as well. So he's one to keep when you have him now for the future. He's facing 2 sides who haven't been doing too well themselves, apart from Manchester United, which you can say have been on the upturn recently, but then again they've also conceded in their last 3 games. So I'm sure he's definitely going to add to that tally, and he will secure Wolves some good points this game week.
You know, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was appointed as the temporary manager, we saw, a sudden bump in the form of Paul Pogba. Now he's been announced as permanent manager, and maybe they would end up chewing their words and regretting for not putting Paul Pogba in there. But let's check up with the captain picks, and let me start from you, Bill. Who will be your captain for this game week?
Aguero will be my captain for this game week.
Just had to be.
It just had to be. It just had to be him. Of course, as I said earlier, he has, of course, gotten at least an assist or a goal against these 2 sides, and he is on top of the goal scoring chart form, and he has gotten enough rest, which will play a very massive part in his game come this weekend and then in the midweek as well. So I'm sure he'll be able to get some goals and get lots of points for FPL managers.
That's Bill. That's Bill. You can account him based on his last words. You're saying that Bill is going to get a lot of points for Fantasy Premier League managers. Adam, where do you sit with this?
I'm also in the Manchester City boat, and I'll go with Sterling. despite him playing in the international break and despite the fears of many FPL managers that he may be rotated during this double game week, we all know Sterling's ability. He's secured how many double digits points over the last 5 games actually. So I know he's definitely the man to go for. Even if he ends up playing only a game and maybe a game and a half, you know he's very explosive, you know he's going to give you the points. So I'm gunning for him this double game week.
Of course, with Sané and Sterling in top form, you could expect a front three of Sané, Sterling and Aguero. But who am I to say? Pep Guardiola would have the final say. But that would be our final say on the Joy Fantasy Football Show. Thank you guys for joining me. Always a pleasure to have you. And of course, we come your way again next week with some more tips. And remember that next week would be the weekend before the Champions League. So we'll try and dissect players who may end up getting rotated. Where it is in the season at this point, you do not want to have any players in your lineup on the bench. So always keep an eye out for our channel, and we give you our best tips to help you get those green arrows. And hopefully we see you again same time next week. But up until we do meet again, always remember Fike Lindo, which basically means stay beautiful.